Hey guys, tactical WOD number 2. We're continuing the conversation we started yesterday. As you've learned, I have horrible ADD, so I bounce around a lot. So every time I do a workout design, I'll try to cover some information I think that is important and applicable to the workout design. Today's workout design, the things that I'm really focusing on, one is grip strength that I did not talk about yesterday. Grip strength is so important I can't begin to articulate it. They have done studies that show elderly people before they segue from independent living to a nursing home lose grip strength exponentially. This is connecting to the rest of your body. There is no independent muscle groups. Your grip is sending a signal to the entirety of the body to prepare for war. So learning how to increase your grip strength is not only a healthy idea or concept, it is also martially one of the most applicable weapons that you could have. I've studied with old school Okinawan karateka, goju-ryu, uechi-ryu that train with very heavy jars and grip strength that I shit you not could rip your quadricep off your leg, could rip the face right off of a human being with no problem. Grip strength is something I think about a lot. When I was studying Aikido, every martial art has its ups and downs. Those two, karate and Aikido, definitely have their ups and downs. But one of the things that I always tried to play with in Aikido was I literally got to a point where I could grab a 200-pound man by his forearm and drop him down to the ground with my grip. I consistently maintain about a 500-pound deadlift without practicing it because of my grip. I just don't feel the weight in my hands. Long story short, grip is important. The next thing that I'm working on today is a lot of hip drive. From a martial perspective, again, if we look at conflict or combat from a non-verbal, you're picking up a danger sign. Somebody's passing you down the street and you get a vibe. That's a non-verbal escalation. The next would be a verbal. Hey, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. We're in the fuck you verbal conflict game. From here, the distance encroaches. It's at the ends of the hands, ends of the feet. From there we get into grappling, and that is both standing and on the ground, and it really doesn't matter. Hip drive is the most essential component to both those, so there's a lot of hip drive in today. Getting ready to do a power clean. I'm going to do it with a thumbless grip, because once again I'm playing with this hook grip that you see a lot of arm wrestlers talk about developing connective tissue here. I'm only doing it for sets of 3, and I'm not doing it too crazy heavy for me because I'm deadlifting tomorrow and I don't want to kill myself. So I'm going to hit 3 reps real quick. Olympic lifting has definitely got its challenges, technique being the biggest one. So I'm going to go to a kettlebell swing, work hip drive a little bit differently. I've been playing with both a heavy and a lighter bell in between, just trying to move the kettlebell quickly. So I might do a set of 5 with a heavy bell, come back the next set, hit a lighter bell for a set of 8, and try to get some speed on the bell. So once again, grip strength, hip hinge, locking the core and the body together, hip drive. Couple of things about the swing. Make sure as you set this up, you are packing in the shoulder, retracting the shoulder blades, as you should at every single lift. A couple of things I want to add to the power clean. I do elements. I spend a lot of time doing pieces of Olympic lifts as opposed to the whole thing. One reason is 35 years of martial arts have turned my wrists into metal rods. They're not flexible. I don't care what anybody says. There is only so much flexibility you can put in a capsule. The metacarpal is a genetic factor. I would say 3 to 4 out of 10 people that I've worked with in 20 years of teaching ollie lifts, doing ollie lifts, are able to get into a correct front rack position. They genetically just can't do it, or there's too many injuries to try to even get benefit from these exercises. I will play with them, but I would really recommend that you take the same concept if you have wrist issue into the kettlebell, because none of the underlying factors, specifically wrist mobility, come up in the kettlebell, and you get all the good and none of the bad. Play with it a little bit. So I'm getting ready to set up a landmine. I'm going to do a transverse chop, again with the focal point of using my, I'm going to load my back hip, and I'm going to unify my lat and arm, and I'm going to whip this thing into contraction and stop my movement. Load the other side. Whip. Stop the movement. Load the other side. So you can just see this screwing dynamic that especially you see a lot in martial arts like Systema. So I don't have it crazy heavy. I want it heavy enough that when it comes down, it's hitting me in the core, and I got to catch it, kind of like the power clean. But I don't want it so heavy I can't accelerate through the movement. Remember, if we're working on power, we really are talking about a weight that's about 30% of a 1 rep max. So it's got some weight, but not so much you can't move it. Always be careful with your first and last rep. Sled time. I know. So, some things about the sled. Reasons for training the sled, and I do it pretty much every single day. One is, if you look at data collected from the Thor program, which is basically the strength coaching, strength training element to special operations, you will clearly see that when guys are coming in out of the field, going into training, we want to be able to put load on their bodies. We want to be able to strengthen without killing. Things like low bar back squats, deadlifts, power cleans with the bar, although are great exercises, can be very taxing on the nervous system and are technically hard to teach. Therefore, injuries from training can be quite high. The last thing we want is that via the sled. We can get all the benefit from training heavy with the sled and none of the downside that we see in a lot of barbell exercises. That's one reason. The second is, if we once again think about the military and things that we should just be able to do on any given day. One of the things that we should see with special operations, even just basic infantrymen, is to be able to put enough load carriage, a basic kit on your body, 60 to 80 pounds, and walk 10, 12 miles a day, every single fucking day. If you can't do that, you're not a soldier. And that has become a big issue that the Pentagon has released papers on, where we've actually seen epidemic from obesity, but what they're seeing is complete and total femur and hip fractures in 18-year-old adult males because they've been laying in the fucking bed for 18 years. And they can't support their own body weight, let alone the load carriage of a generic infantryman. So, once again, right, this is a great way to train every single muscle in the body, unify them without destroying it at the same time. Third thing, the sled is the original strength training implement. It was called a travois. It was 2 sticks strung together by a bear or deer skin, and for thousands of years, Native Americans would put their shit on there and haul it the fuck around. It made them crazy strong. Amazing concept. Anyway, the travois was the original fanny pack. Another reason for doing the sled every fucking day. I want to hit my legs every day in a different way. Yesterday I did a wheelbarrow. Today I'm going to do a sled. I'm going to push it down. I'm going to pull it back. Fun shit. And it looks something like this. Now, I've got a couple of different bags on here. That's about a 150-pound bag right there. So it takes a little bit to get it going. But again, some days I may want to move this thing as heavy as possible. Other days I just want to build up enough tension that my muscles are really burning and I'm getting good solid work. But again, I can get up tomorrow and I can work out again. I don't destroy my body in one single day. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate my elbows into my body, and I'm going to row and hold that row. Yesterday's workout I was talking a lot about framing and the connection between the lat, the elbow, and the hip, and generation of power. I'm still practicing that concept right here. Whew. Yesterday I talked about perceived exertion. Awesome way to do heart rate training without all the tech. Right now I'm climbing and I'm doing that because my body is just now going into oxygen debt and muscles are craving, especially those big legs. That's a Clydesdale ass. I didn't get that from fucking Pilates. You need one too. I'm going to wait till it comes down to about a 6. Then I'm going to pull it back. And we'll talk more about volume, accumulation of volume. It's the #1 game, summation, the overall additive effect of the workouts. Heart rate training, perceived exertion is a great way to monitor and mitigate overtraining and also undertraining. Whew. All right, now let's pull this motherfucker back. Not hit my pipe again. I want to replace that shit. Shit like that is non-essential right now. You can't get gardening supplies, potting soil, or paint. It's non-essential. Governor said you don't need that shit. We're losing our rights every day. Being American, people. Stay strong. Use your own fucking mind. Stop exercising. Start training.